today. Either of these teams could win. T1 could definitely come out and get a 2-0. I wouldn't even be surprised if Bro got a 2-0. That's where we're at right now. And the first ban is going to be Ashe. Always a good one against T1.
Ashe has been the most banned champion against T1 this season. It has 66% of the time been banned against them. So 2/3 of games, really just not allowing that. We'll see if there is going to be a ban on the Azir here. Remember, Faker has relied on the Azir a lot when he hasn't been able to play his pick of the AD champions. And we have also seen Faker really shy away from the Yone pick just throughout his career. He doesn't really play it. He hasn't played it a single game this season either. That's another pick that's been banned a lot, that's rising up right now on this patch that Faker just really doesn't play. So another thing that if they did the research, Bro should be able to identify. Aurora's taken away on blue side as well as Rumble. Interesting to do this when you have that blue side first pick. I wonder what their angle is going to be here for first pick with all these unusually strong champions being taken away as blue side.
Yeah. Definitely pretty strange to see it, but as you mentioned, it does mean that they're probably looking for something specific here. And, well, that's very specifically quite good. And most picked, most presents, I should say. And there's that Yone.
First time for Faker this season.
Could still be top, but especially not blind, right? It's not the blind top pick. You know you're playing into Corki. This makes more sense for Faker.
It does make sense, you know, to do this rather than blinded, as you say.
Yeah.
Still could hold on to it as a flex, but I just don't think that is going to be the case in this game. Youngjae hovering a Viego pick here as owner slam locks the Nidalee. If you guys watched the Genji series, he had an amazing game of Nidalee, or sorry, Lilia, that is to say.
Yeah.
Today I'm mixing up all the names, Valdez. They need to drink more of this coffee I got in front of me. But yeah, he had an amazing game of the Lilia in that series. Did end up getting caught, and they did end up losing, but still, he is very good at this champion. And Sejuani will come through here in response for Youngjae. They lock down Envy's Ezreal first, and then we'll put this one down. The Leona is banned, so we want the Leona Ezreal lane. There's a lot of other viable lanes down there. The question becomes now, what is going to be the answer here for the bottom lane? Otherwise, you're blinding a pick here for Zeus.
Yeah.
Or Faker. I mean, if you lock a mid champion here, you're then making the Yone blind. And it looks like they're looking for MF with a ban on the Leona. I feel like this is a pretty good angle for this. A lot of good setup.
I thought maybe they could go for Senna, but, you know, then you're risking getting a couple of bans on, you know, Tomcan Ornn or something like that, Nautilus Ornn, or
then you have to ban
Yasuo.
Karma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit awkward. You're kind of putting yourself into a hole if you only pick Senna now. And the MF has is one of the champs that actually has a decent lane into Ezreal, so
bit
feels
of a
good.
Chuckle from Edgar after we did see the Corki top yesterday come through.
Oh boy,
with the LeBlanc. So he is going to know that did happen. They kind of got a free ban of this because I don't think that was the game plan for Bros to flex the Corki top, but either way, LeBlanc strong into what they put together and will be taken away. Cassante ban also indicating that Bro are 99% sure, as are we, that this is going to be Faker's Yone. See what comes through as a Braum ban. I like that. Strong with the Ezreal, strong with Sejuani.
Braum is really fallen off, but I really like it in this spot. I do agree.
Blocks bullet time, so that's another big issue that their composition would face if that pick did come through. See what this final ban is going to be. Jace. So taking away some strong top picks here, but he's still going to have counter pick.
Yeah, he might just pick Kennen at the end of the day as well. I mean, he's definitely been very comfortable on that pick. Rel is going to be the choice here for the side of Keria, so MF and Rel in the bottom lane.
Rakan was the other pick I was thinking of, obviously has a permafrost synergy and you know, a lot of engage here, great counter engage too to the draft of T1 because they have the Rel, they have the Lilia, they have the Yone, they have the bullet time, so you need something to break that up, disrupt it. Maybe a flank could be the way as the Rel is kind of fishing forward, looking for those engages. Maybe Rakan can find a bit of an angle. Will be a little bit tougher to play in the laning phase as they'll take the Kennen themselves here blind, and we'll see what Zeus is going to lock in return.
I mean, or it still could
Faker.
just be Yone. in a top lane, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure you really want to play that into Kennen, so feeling just like the Kennen-Gnar handshake.
I think the Gnar in this draft, with all the other frontline they have in terms of engage, is pretty strong, but it will be the Sylas to come through, so likely we'll just push that Yone into the top lane. I say that because put into Zeus' hands here on the swap. So interesting to see this. Sylas is not really in a great spot right now in terms of his power level. Has been significantly nerfed. I mean, it was reworked to make him more of a brawler, but that doesn't really suit how this meta plays out. Could steal the Kennen ult, could steal the Rakan ult, Sejuani ult, some value there.
Yeah, I mean, there's good ults to steal. I do worry about this laning phase, though. It's not like you picked it into a Gnar where you're like, okay, I'm going to be better Gnar, and, you know, I can somewhat trade against this. I think Kennens can be very annoying, especially early on, and make this laning phase hell for Zeus, so very curious about this R5 Sylas. Not totally convinced just yet.
Yeah, you know, his Kennen ults have been, you know, very hit or miss, especially in the losses we've seen when they don't have map control. He will have the opportunity to have some Kennen ults as Sylas in this, and can, you know, close the gap with the chains connecting and pulling himself into a fight, then ult, so it's quite strong. And obviously, because he is going to be building AP, he's going to have those ratios for the ultimate as well. I do wonder how this is going to play out in lane, though, because the Kennen is so speedy, it's hard to trade with him, and he can put a lot of pressure on you. On the other hand, the Gnar can't really win the matchup without assistance here, so it would have been greedy, but at least it's a known quantity. This draft from T1 looked like it was going to be standard and insanely strong until, once again, they throw us a curveball.
Curveballs coming in from every which direction. Let's jump out of the rift for game number 1. And off we go for game number 1, as we'll see if any swaps happen here early on. But I would expect, in this case, to not see one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But a lot of supports do hang out in the top brushes, just fighting for vision and stuff.
Yeah, it's important.
Although, Uma is heading top.
Okay. Interesting picking the MF, but then not willing to lane into the Ezreal Rakan. Looking for a potential trap here onto the Kennen.
Yeah. The level 1 of Rel and Sylas is pretty strong, but let's see what they decide to do with this. It looks like a late invade, actually, into the blue buff.
Yeah, we'll scan wards here as the buff spawns. It won't actually commit to contesting it or anything like that, and just going to be a Kennen who loses out on having the ranged advantage early. I say this, you know, we'll see what he can get done elsewhere on the map. Of course, not just going to be a sitting rat is going to be able to help Young Jay clear this jungle. We'll interact with Keria as they're very aware of what is going on. So down will go this Gromp. Keria should be fine here. Will crash his way away. Baker's first pick of Yone of the season, and testing himself, I think, a lot in this moment here on this pick that he has very few times played in his career.
Yeah, I think it's got to be something that mid laners have in their arsenal, right?
Especially in this meta where it's buffed on this patch. Yes, the ult cooldown is nerfed, but I feel like the buff overshadows that quite substantially, as we're turning the 6 into a 7 now.
Yeah.
In this one.
This time it's not into Maokai,
yeah.
But, well, we'll see how it does into Lilia, as it has been a long time, and the last player to play it was, in fact, Zeus.
In that playoff round 3 match, the winners finals essentially there, he did play it. Envy is going to try to put the pressure on this Sylas down here, as we do see the commitment of the teleport for Zeus, so he's already getting some XP. Morgan will be doing the same up here, shadowed by Palu. Demolish does come through, but with the protection of lane swaps, you can see it's not doing all too much here. Envy getting a lot done on his own. Will, of course, be happy to have the extra experience. Palu, though, needs to get down there now and start to level up himself, as it looks like the early Kennen shutdown has been a relative success here by T1.
Yeah, I do wonder how long this will go on for, because I suppose you could technically just kind of keep this the way it is and have either your junglers or your supports kind of shadow the lanes based on the position of the wave and try to stave off dives and stuff like that. We do have Youngjae down here alongside of level 1 Palu. Oh, there's level 2. Okay, he's got it. So, but Keria is here. As I mentioned before, you know, it's just a support here when the wave is going to crash. This time, though, it's Owner in the top lane, and Morgan's in a lot of trouble. That is a very easy first blood, as Guma also will pick that one up himself.
I mean, the Misfortune just has so much damage, or even in the early game, to a squishy target like it can, and just walks up, shoots him in the face, and then Owner just sweeps him up. And that's going to be the kill going over to Gumayusi, who tanks the turret, so does have to back, but that's pretty convenient because he was planning on going back to the bottom lane anyways. Morgan did have TP, something that Zeus did not, so he's going to be able to get right back to lane, but I don't think he's going to get any advantages out of this, as Keria is taking some damage here, but I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah, he really wanted to pull that cannon out of tower range, but he will not be able to. Does give his AD carry a little bit of push towards him, so still, you know, similar effects. Obviously, Guma doesn't get the cannon, but still feeling pretty good about that situation.
The last game of Yone that Faker played was against Hanwha Life Esports in 2023 spring. He had a scoreline of 0-3-0 against Zeka's Kassadin and lost the game. So just to give you guys an idea of last time he played it.
I feel like that would have... That's weird. That's a weird matchup. Yone versus Kassadin. I was going to say, I feel like that would be a counter pick for Faker into the Kassadin, because you would imagine that the Yone should have a good matchup into that. But now I'm like, would you really blind Kassadin?
That back then, remember back then Kassadin was pretty popular with Rod of Ages and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a different era. Like, I'm not going to blame Faker. We don't remember the game off the top of our heads, but I really just wanted to mention it to showcase how long it's been.
Yeah.
As over here, a bit of a trade.
Well, the knockup is not going to hit, and now Palu in a bit of a rough spot, gets exhausted, and Guma's just so strong right now. He's got a pickaxe, and he's going to pick up a second kill. Yeah, that was Palu not respecting the MF.
Yeah, that was also really just not it. If you miss the knockup there, it's not what you where you want to be as Rakan, and he is just going to get absolutely smashed. And up here in the top lane, Youngjae looking for a pick, but Owner's here as well.
Oh, but the flash on in, Zeus has to flash away. It's one auto away, but he gets out just barely.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty significant. No gold going over to either of these, top half of the map. Jungler or top laner, Morgan or Youngjae, but it does deny Zeus farm here, as he does not have teleport to get back to lane. Another interesting part of this, bit of an engage from Palu.
Yeah, the ult comes out from Faker. He's got Keria nearby, and he will escape with this, although the angle is kind of funky.
Yeah, I guess
just run out to the right, yeah.
Doesn't matter that it doesn't look very, it doesn't look like the right way to go. It still is successful at getting out. Just want to make sure no one else was nearby, I suppose.
The grubs here for Bro should be able to pick up all three, especially with the wackiness in mid lane. Owner not really heading towards there at all. Looks like he wants to secure an early Drake for the team.
And we talked about Faker not playing Yone. Not to harp on this too much, but I do think it's quite unique to see him. It's almost like a new pick for him, right? And it was almost always played by Zeus in the top lane. I think that's part of why we didn't see it from him. But that game we mentioned, I didn't realize this was the only time he's ever played Yone.
Wow.
The only time. So again, something that if you're a T1 fan, you're pretty aware of, that when you see a Yone in the draft, you're like, that could be a Zeus, but you even mentioned it right away, as Faker is getting chunked.
Yeah, I mean, he queues back into the Sejuani. That's not exactly the angle you want to take. He is able to flash away, so he will survive, but now he's going to be down his flash. See how that affects the mid lane here, as Keria is really looking to try to punish Envy. He has a extremely strong AD carry next to him in MF in Guma, with cleanse and flash available, so definitely trying to put on the pressure there.
Zeus trying to crash this wave in, will be successful. See what he ends up building here in this game, because we've seen a lot of different Sylas builds over the years, depending on the meta.
Everfrost, right? Oh, wait.
Rod of Ages, right? Oh, wait.
Yeah. Rocket build?
Yeah, that might be what he's looking at here with this early Hextech alternator. I don't want to guess too early, but
we don't see a lot of top Sylases in our league, so
it's going to offer him some more damage here in the lane if he hits Morgan, which is a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if he's trying to be you know, the rat clone.
Yeah, no,
You know,
I mean, it
not
makes
better
sense.
Gnar, but better Kennen. You know, just rocket belt in, just like Kennen.
It's really unfortunate, though, that he's, you know, his teleport wasn't back up. He's significantly behind in farm now. The wave is not in a great spot for him. And obviously they don't have vision of where Youngjae is right now, so it is very scary for him. The Hextech alternator in itself is not going to feel like a big spike into this matchup, whereas the Haunting Guys actually is quite useful for Morgan to pick up, so it's not going to help him in this matchup, but you've got to buy something, right? You're going to build towards an item. It probably will be the belt, I would guess. What we will see is, you know, they lane swapped out of the early part of this matchup being tough, but we're back to it being tough. And we'll see what he can do if he staves off the pressure in this lane. Is Keria, you know, change.
Just give him a good whack.
Yeah, give him a little whack.
Yeah.
Not going to be turning.
Don't lose boss.
The horse in the pants thing is just really weird. I never thought about it until Atlas met, you know, started making jokes about it in challengers, and now I'm always thinking like, what's going on, Keria?
Yeah, horse pants lady. I don't know. It's just I just think of it as Rel and as a champion, and I don't really care too much about the lore personally.
Yeah, but when you start to, like, before you just think about, oh, it's crashed down, like, you don't even look at the pants, you're like, oh, he's going in, transforming a little bit, but then you think about the pants and you're like, you can't unsee it, you know?
It's tough to thinking about the pants for sure.
As there is a ward here.
Yeah. There is also Youngjae, who is looking for the angle here. He is going to hit it, forces owner to flash away. Because we did have both Fate and Palu making their way up towards the top lane here.
Yeah, Youngjae will clear this ward now. So they thought that perhaps Youngjae wasn't there, but he does show and ends up being, you know, Zeus having to back now. Does have TP at this point. See what he does in fact purchase. Okay, just merc trading at the moment. We're working towards that. So no more clues, but again, it's probably Rocket Belt. As I thought we might have some action here. It's been a lot of aggression in this early game.
Yeah.
MF getting those 2 early kills off of a big mistake.
It's a pretty cool Corki skin, by the way. You don't often see that.
I think it's is it a new skin?
What is that skin? I don't even know.
I think Rascal played the new skin that's really cool, but this is like a different
I thought he
one.
played Final, whatever, like Mini Boss or Arcade Corki.
Is that what it was?
I'm pretty sure that's what he played. I don't know what this one is, though.
All right, Morgan.
Very cool, though. I kind of want it.
He has a really nice angle here, and will be able to stun Keria and push him away. I don't think T1 wants to force a fight here without Faker having prio into this cannon, but they're grouping.
Yeah, it seems like they really don't want to give it away. As ult into Envy, he is so low. And one grub already going to go over to the Rakan, but T1 do take control of this area. So 4 grubs over to Bro. They're going to like that. Whereas T1 will only get the 2. But another win down on the bottom lane for Guma, who's really trying to exert that pressure with the money he has.
Yeah, I mean, he has a BT already. Envy is just trying to catch these waves. I don't think he gets... this is really risky, but he's going to be able to try to get this cannon.
Don't do it, Envy.
Do not chase, please. We'll actually get this wave well played. We didn't see what happened because we had to jump down to bottom lane with the ult, and then we went back, and then T1 had control of the grubs. Bro just giving that up. A little bit surprising considering the position they had as Keria's looking for an interrupt.
Oh, that was close. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't find Envy, but it's just so much money going into this MF. I mean, we don't often see one player popping off this hard in many of our games, but Guma will just have insane amounts of money. He already has the BT, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, he is really large. He got the kill earlier, then got the kill onto Palu. Like the lane swap kill, the Palu kill, 4 plates, and that's a product of the advantages. As we'll take a look back at this. As again, Morgan keeps Keria zoned out.
Oh boy.
Palu steals. And they're like, that's enough for us.
Yeah.
I guess they just didn't want to risk a fight, give T1 the opportunity to get Zeus into a good spot. Very aggressive TP.
He does have almost his entire team up there, so I guess it's fine. But yeah, Zeus is like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'll back away from this one, get some wards up. And we do see Youngjae still shadowing towards the top side. Will be spotted here. He's only got carry on the top side of the map as Bro look for this dive, but Kennen ultimate available for Zeus. Not easy to dive into this one, but he is going to throw it out as the other Kennen ultimate comes out from the Kennen, and Zeus is going to live, and now Keria comes in. Zeus does go down, but Keria will trade one back. Meanwhile, Owner's just taking a Drake.
And Palu not able to impact this play at all, and Keria's roam is so massive here because MF doesn't need his help at all in the bottom lane. He is completely controlling this, and Palu's just late on the play, has level 6 now. But Keria comes over and saves the day. Really well played by Zeus as well, the timing of the ultimate there. And Silas has so much sustain, of course, so it's really difficult to actually burst him down. If the ultimate doesn't hit from Youngjae, then this whole thing ends up being a disaster. So they were able to hit that, but not before the Kennen ult does go off. So really well played by Zeus. The Keria roam really it saves the day there. Might have been able to trade a kill back either way, but it guarantees it. You can see the turret plates here. As first brick is T1's. All plates over in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and it's all solidified on one of their main carries, right? I mean, we've seen MFs really kind of pop off, and look at the damage he's doing to mid as well. I mean, nobody's here, and Guma's just... It almost feels like they're just trying to ignore the MF. They're like, yeah, just pretend Guma doesn't exist, and we're going to do other stuff on the other side of the map. And meanwhile, Guma's just like taking free turrets.
Yeah, he is hard existing. He's definitely real. He's definitely hurting them. Owner is going in here.
Yeah, trying to set up the sleep on a Youngjae and get something out of it, but Youngjae just kind of dashes away and eventually gets some peel from Palu, so doesn't amount to too much.
Yeah, we did see the rocket belt complete, so that was, but less of a question in our mind as time went on, but now confirmed, of course, and Faker is going to be able to rebind his soul, so no worries. The Observer's trying to jump scare, but...
Yeah. And eventually, the Silas can take some good trades into the Kennen, which we do see here. A little bit unfair that the True Shot Barrage comes out as well, but Morgan just going to Slicing Maelstrom to clear the wave.
Yeah, it doesn't actually get a stun out of it or lock Zeus in place to take some additional damage, but it will be enough to at least stave off the pressure.
So Yone is definitely one of those picks that's hard to lock down, but they are able to do it with the Rakan and the Sejuani, but will they dive and get the kill? No, they will not. Baker just flashes that one off, and it's a huge committal for Bro, and they don't get much outside of the flash.
Yeah, the second time they get Baker's flash, but not the kill. He gets away. They're trying to do some additional damage to the turret, but he is going to be able to clear the wave. No worries. Up here, Owner is also getting the Rift Herald. T1 have a 2-dragon lead. The gold lead is significant here for T1, but it's really just more about what they've been able to get on the map, where that gold is on this Misfortune. And the T1 fans given a big clap as that Herald is secured, because this early game has been completely theirs. We've seen a few attempts from Bro to make proactive plays, but it's kind of been mostly fumbles. You consider the kill on Zeus on the top side also was a trade of kills. As Morgan, very aware that he is in a bit of danger as the team is rotating up. It's a bit of a scary time to go into a replay, but we'll watch this play that I was just mentioning. As Zeus does have the Kennen ult here, presses R before the stun comes through, so he guarantees the ult goes off. Then the Kennen ult comes out from the real Kennen and Morgan. He gets stunned here, and then the Rel comes in to lock him into the turret, which is very clutch coming in from Keria there, who has the faster roam over Palu.
Yeah. I mean, if Keria's not there, they probably just get the kill on Zeus, but because Keria is able to trade it back, it doesn't feel so bad. And, ever so quietly, we talked a lot about the MF. I feel like Owner as well is really beginning to chunk. As Zeus is going to get dove again. He has Kennen ult again. This is not an easy dive, but maybe this time they're going to put all 3 members are stunned under the turret as Zeus finally goes down. As Baker trying to get this punish onto the Kennen. Morgan very, very low, and he's just not going to throw an ult in. Just rebinds as Morgan barely gets away.
Small amount of health. If he gets like one more auto in there and then rebinds, that is enough to kill him. Baker, I think, thought he had enough there, but again, obviously isn't going to be ulting to chase. And ends up being the second death here for Zeus in this game. Very expensive. on the side of Bro. They end up losing the mid turret. IE, by the way, finished a while ago. I mean, like, over the last minute and a half or so ago, Uguma picked that up, so he is just so large at this moment in time. He isn't really doing a ton of damage to champions just yet, but I guarantee you that when we get to some real team fights, he will be. As this ult from Zeus ends up being so high value. Morgan has to flash after that last bit of damage comes through, and then Faker, as he's charmed here, gets that last bit of damage through. He gets one more auto. It's enough, but it's not quite. So that's a big boon here for Bro. Still, advantage T1 at this current game state, and they're going top again. Hey, it was the way that we saw the last series almost go away from D+, and now Bro's taking the same strat.
It's a Chemtech Drake, so they're like, yeah, okay, cool story. We'd like the gold instead, and they will get it. I mean, there's not much that, Faker and Carriot can do here against 3, especially when Fate's in a really nicely farmed spot himself and has that Trinity Force completed. Gonna get that Muramana here. We'll see how fast he can get that. Looks like Envy's pretty close himself. Unfortunately for Envy, we haven't really had a moment for him to really do anything on this Ezreal, just because he fell behind and then he's just been left alone in the lane against Guma over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think that obviously, the Ezreal is going to outrange the Misfortune, but when it's just a 1v1 and you're trying to get minions, Guma is going to abuse you. He's going to hit that turret. He can push the wave insanely fast. So, Envy is just respecting that at this point in time. I mean, against the IE, if he gets hit by, 2 or 3 autos, he's just out of the lane. So he has to sit back and just kind of farm it up. He can't be using his Qs to trade because he has to kill the minions. He's going to do so safely under turret. When we do get to team fights later, though, he is going to be able to chip away at the health pools of T1 because they have a melee top laner, melee mid laner. They have Lilia, right? There's not a ton of threat outside of the Rel to get on top of this Ezreal. So he will have a lot of agency when we get to team fights later on. And we haven't seen big team fights because they've given everything to T1 to try to scale. And I think that's warranted when it's a Chemtech, so you can definitely give that third dragon up for the money top side, as you mentioned. I think Envy has a bigger role to play later on in this game. We're not quite there yet.
Yeah, still waiting for those spikes on the Corki, the Ezreal. And I think that's when Bro might be ready to throw down and, go for a little bit of a lifting competition, perhaps. See who can lift the heavier weight on the Chemtech Drake. And we know who wins those ones. But yeah, Guma's just so strong. I feel like basically for Bro, they have a lot of CC. They have a lot of follow-up with their dive, at least outside of the 80 carries. So it should be like, find the MF and try to kill her as soon as possible. And maybe we win the fights from there.
Yeah. See a bit of a commitment here to taking out this top turret. Look at how quickly Guma breaks this one down. Very easy to clear this wave, though, as Fate. So not going to be able to quite get it, but if they hadn't reacted quickly, might have lost it. As we do see Zeus rotating up as well. T1 are going to use this Herald very late to guarantee this turret, which is significant for Baron takes, which will be coming up in the next few minutes. With the damage that this MF already has, and the inherent safety she has with that BT. And, Bro are really just, this is a classic sit back and scale Bro game. I hope it's not going to be a sit back and lose situation, because they have not made too many proactive plays outside of the top dives, but it's not so much of a lead here for T1, and obviously the objective lead matters very little when it is a Chemtech Soul. It's not so much that they're sitting back and giving the game up, but when we do see T1 start threatening Barons, that's when Bro are going to have to respond. That's when we're going to have to take those fights. I don't think you can just go, oh wait, they're doing Baron and run over with this comp. You need to be there, you need to be poking, you need to be chunking, you need to have a cannon flank angle, you need to have wards set up. And right now they don't have any of that, so keep an eye out for that, because once T1 starts the Baron, they're looking to end this.
Yeah. It's a classic Bro and Brew, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
What's your choice of brew today?
Just a bit of a coffee.
Just a bit of a coffee.
Yeah, a bit of like a small coffee,
I just went for the classic water. As Bro's going to start this.
That's proactive, and
they just hit their spike.
And they just hit their spike. They just cleared the vision. They've got a teleport ward here. T1 do. They are going to send the Yone straight in here. Zeus also has TP. Morgan's on a long con flank angle. Is going to go on an even longer one.
Yeah, they want to turn here, but Youngjae's at 30% health. So, yeah, T1 are like, yeah, you're not fighting. So, and Bro are like, oh yeah, that's true. We're not fighting.
Envy, don't go in on that. That's scary.
Hey, he did some nice damage in Ikaria. Palu looking for the angle. They found Owner on the left side. They still have the cannon on the flank. The flash comes out from Owner, but will he get away from this one? The True Shot Barrage will land, and so will the Q. And now we got Carry in a really rough spot as well. Guma super low as he will be taken down. Nice ult from Faker, but it only hits Young Jae, and that is not nice at all. Down he will go as well. He's so low. The flash comes in from Fate, and at least, you know, Faker gets away with his life, but man, that is a big fight here for Bro to come back in this game.
Absolutely. Gold lead here significantly diminished. Zeus got the cannon ult. He's looking for something, and he's going to find it.
That is gigantic. I thought he was just going to go for the backing Sejuani, but I suppose this was the better target, taking out the Ezreal.
Wait, he's not done yet.
Mega Cone? He's going back in. He's got an ult, and well, he's 1v3, so he's just dead.
Okay, well,
it looks very cool, but that was not cool in the end.
Yeah, it looked really cool in the first one. The second one looked very scary, and then
it's hard to outcool the Bros. I mean, I understand. He's just really trying to make up for some lost time.
Sure. All right, we'll watch this again. So I was scared about Envy going in here, but there's really just no one to catch him, you know, outside of the Yone ulting in, but that's too risky. Palu ends up finding Owner here, as T1, I think, really thought, oh, okay, we called their bluff, we walk away, but they were very split on the back off. Guma has to flash here, is ulted, cleanses to then ult himself, but he's just so low that he dies before he can do meaningful damage, as when we get the jump cut like that, it always scares me. But do it just have Zeus still on the respawn. I feel like T1 definitely could have been a little bit more careful with how they walked out of that one, but Bro, now going to set up again.
And you see Faker's going for a trade here on a Young Jae. The rest of the team not really in position to punish Faker's Unbound Soul, so he just hops back. Now Palu is in no man's land, but due to Mega Cones, he's actually going to get away. So
calculated.
That's one way to use the Chemtech Rift. Don't even mind it.
There you go. I don't think they can start this off just yet, though. Young Jae does not have Warmogs, and Envy barely able to get over the wall there. Doesn't have flash. Paulu's just constantly setting up these flank wards. Morgan doesn't have TP just yet, but that could be relevant later.
Yeah.
It's not seen. T1 are going to say, all right, well, we'll take the Chemtech Soul. Some of those extra resistances and damage numbers will still be valuable for them. They'll also get the Elder spawning, as Envy's going to try for the steal. When you look at this setup here for Bro, they're removing a lot of T1's vision. Like, T1 don't get this dragon for free. It is going to cost them a lot of Baron control. They still have this Scuttle Crab. Can't see the cannon, though.
Yeah, I mean, they could start it, but at the end of the day, T1 are right there. So, yeah, definitely looking for the turn, and T1 have recognized this. Carry this time, he is going to keep an eye on Palu, so... it really feels like Bro are reading from one playbook. Well, they've got this playbook that's got like two plays, you know? And T1 are kind of reading it. As now we're going to get the sleep down onto Fate. He's in a lot of trouble as the Mega Cone gets him away. And, well, he's just going to die anyway to the MF ult zoning. And down he goes, as I was about to lose my mind.
Well, I think that they probably wouldn't have tried to make that play or that flank happen without the Mega Cone. So in this case, I'm like,
I hope so.
I think you're warranted in a little bit of anger here, but I think they definitely knew that they could try to use that to get out. Palu tries to come in and actually get both of them out instantly, and it is relatively successful there because Palu is operating on this cone. So if Fate gets collapsed on, he has the cone to get out. I think they definitely did this intentionally, but ultimately still get caught here, and Young Jae has to come over and try to bail them out, and Fate is caught by the MF ult. I mean, you can tell by the fact that he's putting damage into Owner there. He knows the cone is so wide that he's definitely going to die. But I like the proactivity or Bro activity here we're seeing from Bro trying to set traps for T1. But T1 are the gods of Baron turns and Baron setups, so they're just not going to really get caught off guard by any of this. And the flanks of the Rakan, the cannon flanks, T1 are very aware of these possibilities. They also knew Morgan didn't have teleport, so handling the pressure very well. But I will give credit to Bro for the setups they've attempted.
For sure. I mean, it just feels like it's a little bit predictable. You know, they're setting up vision, they're trying to get flanks. It's exactly what this comp wants to do. I feel like a lot of credit should be given because some teams, they draft comps like this and they're like, we're just going to go fight them. They don't set stuff up like this, which really angers us as casters. But these guys, the Bros, they're like, hey, we know what we're doing. We want to get that cannon in position. We want to get that Rakan in position. We want to get these flanks off because that's the best way to get to the MF. That's the best way to punish a Yone that goes a bit too far and to avoid any of the engage from like a Rel and a Sylas. So
now T1 are going to clear some vision up here. Faker does have teleport. And the MF is sitting on the RFC. We'll have a 4th item fairly soon. So a lot of damage you put into this with the Leandries on 2 players as well. You know, if you end up grouping as 5, T1 could rush this Baron so quickly that Bro need to constantly be vigilant. The Scuttle Crab is so valuable in this moment because they can see the approach, the setups here for T1. Teleports back up for Morgan. So, you know, looking at flank wards here, there's not great ones on the back of the Baron pit. They were able to clear the wards that were set up earlier. And it looks like we're just going to continue to trade vision here on Baron until Elder spawns. Like, that's how it's looking like this game is going to go, and I feel like that favors T1 here as long as they do their due diligence on vision control, and so far they are.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of decent ways to tech brushes. You know, you got the Make It Rain, you've got bowling balls from the Lilia, you have the Rel, who's decently tanky, can kind of frontline and kind of put her face in there and see what she can see, clear out some of the vision. So even when Bro do have control of the brushes, there are ways. On the side of Bro, they have Corki and Ezreal, so a lot of poke, a lot of ways to check brushes themselves.
And right now, Bro are really heavily investing into control wards as well. Like, they're basically constantly building all their inventories because they know that they need to have a way for this Kennen to get in, and they need to make sure T1 can't see where they are. As Baker, greedy choice from Keria.
Yeah, trying to engage onto Keria with the Mega Cone denial. The escape cone, Mega Cone denial. It doesn't quite work. That's still Rel with exhaust and flash, so.
Zeus, I don't think he should get a punish here. He's going for it.
He's got the Slicing Maelstrom. He's going to get in there. The TP will be channeled by Fate, but can he get here on time? The True Shot Barrage does help do a bit of damage here to Zeus. Can he get out? He's going back in. He's got MF, and that's going to force the flash out of Fate, but here comes Envy. Will clean up the kill onto Zeus. As a kind of crazy fight in the bottom lane.
Morgan decides not to flash there, and I think the idea is potentially thinking either A, he's going to get out of there, which I don't think he ever really was, or B, he just thinks the flash is going to be more valuable for the Elder fight in 90 seconds when he does respawn. He will have his ultimate back up and available there as well. So Zeus now down flashes. Envy is going to avoid this.
Yeah, just trying to get some harass down onto Envy. Another bowling ball is going to hit. And, you know, just trying to push Envy out of this one, but the issue with this is that Envy has BT, so doesn't really do much, right? Unless they were immediately going to rush for the Baron.
And even with the nerf cooldown, Faker should have his ult back up for the Elder fight.
It's very low on the unit.
Yeah, it's nerfed, but it's still pretty low. So
that's why I got nerfed.
Yeah, it's not like the end of the world. But the lack of flash for Zeus actually could be significant. So let's watch this again. As Zeus comes in here, hijacks the Kennen ultimate. That's going to put that on cooldown as well, the ability to get the Kennen ultimate. And then Morgan dashes away. He has to flash for the kill here, knowing that Fate is here. He's still going to end up going down and loses his flash for the play. So that's pretty concerning. I think it was a good idea to try to go all in on the Kennen, but what he loses in return, the flash, the hijack, and the arm guard, it's really high cost right before the most important fight of the game. So it looked cool, but maybe ultimately an error as Morgan has Banana Brush control.
Yeah, that's a stun down on the Keria, but again, it's Rel, so they're not overcommitting for that. But a nice chunk, at least, done here by Morgan, as they're trying to set up all the vision, trying to contain control of that bottom river, and right now it is going all the way of Bro. In terms of wave clear, I feel like the Corki and Ezreal are going to be pretty fantastic at doing that from a safe distance. As here goes Faker in on a Morgan, who is going to take a huge chunk already. Going to spot him on the flank, as Faker, though, is going to get flashed on, and he gets away. Palu not able to connect onto the Yone.
Faker down.
Start up the Dragon here for T1.
Faker down flash, I was going to say, but not ult, and then that happened. So he's down ult as well. Envy here, level 16, looking for the flanking cannon. Morgan's coming over on the left side. Can they sandwich T1? Zeus holding guard. I don't think they can get in. Youngjae
gonna get this one started, but carry on the counter engage. Catches two, and Fate and Ezreal here. Envy just both get clobbered on the backside of that one. T1 absolutely clean up. It's a triple for Owner. So as I said at the beginning, just very quietly having a consistent game.
And it's just a disastrous fight for Bro. They put the cannon so far away. And in T1, we have the easy call as Youngjae goes in. They set up the engage for them. They don't need a Yone. All they need is Keria. And T1 win the fight, win the Elder, and will take game one. Pretty slow and steady wins the race here by T1. As Palu is the only one who could watch on as the Nexus falls.
Not T1's flashiest game, but they get it